What does refund the community mean to you?
Yeah, so we've seen over the past few decades inflated police budgets and an expanded role of their duty. And we think that there are better people in the community and more people in the community that are apt to do youth mentoring, addiction services, mental health, like the litany of things that we can do to prevent crime is very long, right? Longer than this interview. And what we want to do is empower people in the community to stop the antisocial behavior that leads to crime at the root. We can't continue on this path of public safety. It's unsustainable, and the violence is just too much and unacceptable. We're here because we care about our communities, and we know our communities can be safer than what they are right now, but we have to do something different and reimagine a safer Toledo, and that's what refunding Toledo is all about. Putting the money where it's needed most. Putting the money where it's most effectively spent and can go the furthest. We know dollars in the education sector go far greater than dollars when people are incarcerated. So why don't we invest more in education? Right? It only makes sense that we have to realign our priorities. That's what it's really about, to reimagine what public safety can become. We can have a much safer city. And that's why we're out here today. And because we don't believe that our current safety model is sustainable or working.
Well, for those who may say that having less money in the police department doesn't make the community, it makes the community less safe. Mm-hmm. How do you respond to that?
So let's look at Toledo, right? Let's make this local. In around 1970, our population was at its greatest, yet we spent a percentage of what we spend now on policing. Our population drops, the police budget continues to increase. Yet we're not more safe. It doesn't make sense. What we're doing is not sustainable. So we know that if we return that money to the places where it's most beneficial, it can make a bigger and better difference.
We're outside the police station here. There's a couple officers out here for recently. Do you think you're starting to be heard? Do you feel that police are starting to listen to you?
Well, that's a layered question. I think we're starting to be heard on a surface level. I think you see Black Lives Matter on an NBA court and you say, oh wow, somebody's listening. But then we wait 110 days since May 30th and there hasn't been the material conditions of Toledoans haven't changed. Even the legislation that passed through city council and through the mayor's office isn't being enacted. So what is change really? Because what we're experiencing now, isn't it? That's not what we're asking for, right? We want the material conditions to actually change. We want change that people can feel. While we appreciate more allies being with us, it's more than holding a sign, wearing a shirt, or walking with a banner. It's something, look here, we are in a moment in American history that we have never experienced before. We've never seen a 50-state uprising for change. And we know that if we look at American history, it is the one common theme has been the oppression of Black folks throughout our entire existence. We believe we can do better. We believe that we can reimagine a public safety that doesn't have this inherent bias. But we can't continue to function like the status quo is okay. And while I think that people are becoming empathetic to the words, and because now friends and family are starting to come out to these protests, and so it's in your family now, you can't ignore it. But I think that it has to manifest into the actual change that people can feel in their day-to-day lives. And until that happens, it's just surface level. And frankly, we've been seeing surface level change in regards to race relations in America for 400 years now. And that's not gonna cut it in 2020.
There is a number of different groups here, a number of different figures here today. What does it mean to see that kind of unity for one cause right here in this corner?
So our unity is our strength. That's our secret weapon. And that's what we showed out here today, right? Because we have people of all races, colors, sizes, socioeconomic backgrounds that are unified to undo America's original sin of oppression and exploitation of black bodies, and to create a society that is just and equal for all. To hold the precepts that the founding fathers originally said, to make that the reality for all Americans. Right? And we have unity with that, more than you see. Our unity is our secret weapon, and our unity is our strength. And as people have seen throughout the past 6 years, I think people will continue to see that unity grow. So I challenge those that aren't out here to be on the right side of history. I think it's clear. Ask yourself, what would you have been doing during the civil rights movement? What would you have been doing during abolition, during the Civil War? And ask yourself, what are you doing today? Be on the right side of history and join us and be part of this unified movement that's going to change America and change the world.